Tesla's Megapack factory in Shanghai will be supposedly completed ahead of schedule this December. We should get an official announcement from Tesla probably in the next few weeks. This is really good because this will double Tesla's capacity for Megapack production. And we know that analysts are sleeping on Tesla's energy business, but this could start changing. Also, Tesla's Shanghai factory sharing production lines between the old Model Y and the new Model Y, but the proportion of the new Model Y is lower for now, which basically confirms that the new model will go on sale in January next year. This is in the rumor category, of course, but this is highly likely to actually be true. And we just got 2 pictures of what supposedly is the refreshed Model Y. Supposedly this is the back of the car, so you can clearly see this huge light bar. And this is supposed to be the front of the vehicle. I assume that these pictures are from China because we are getting them from Chinese sources. And on top of that, Tesla is still doing incredibly well in China. We just had the 8th highest week of the quarter ever. So look at this whole quarter. This was not too bad because it's the first week. Okay, good. Okay, great. We are already ahead of the previous best quarter, so it's very likely that this quarter is going to be the best quarter ever for Tesla in China. And Tesla is actually selling quite a few Model 3s. It's not just Model Ys, and that's likely because Tesla wants to sell more Model 3s because there is a switch happening right now. Look at how many Model 3s Tesla sold earlier and how many it's selling now. There's a big difference. This is also really good for Tesla. Tesla tops customer satisfaction rankings in China's CAACS 2024 survey. It got a score of 86.88. And according to Grok's translation, BYD ranked number 11 on that list. In fact, Teslas are so good that even Tesla's competition says that Teslas are the best. For example, the CEO of Rivian, RJ, he just said that the Tesla Model Y is still the best EV under $50,000. So that makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is Rivian just getting an approval for a loan of $6.6 billion from the government to build a plant that has been put on pause. That's a factory that will make smaller vehicles. The reason the factory was put on pause was due to cost saving. The company still needs to meet certain technical, legal, environmental, and financial conditions to finalize the loan, but seems like the deal is mostly done by now. If this loan was given 3 years ago, I would have understood because at that point, still, the EV market was developing, but now the market to some extent certainly has developed already. At least it's certainly true that Tesla to a large extent has developed quite a bit because Tesla is making a profit. No other companies that make EVs make a profit selling EVs. But look at Rivian stock. It jumped 20%. Why? Because without that loan, would they have made it? That's definitely questionable. Now, the chances of them going bankrupt certainly are substantially lower. Overall, for the EV consumer, this is great, but RJ is not really known for cutting costs relentlessly. So how well will this money be used? That remains to be a big question. But Rivian certainly just went from an automaker that is more likely to fail to now, the chances are maybe more likely they are going to stick around. Also, I can't help but wonder, was this an attempt to sort of weaken Tesla and Elon Musk overall, or did this really have nothing to do with politics? My hunch is that there's certainly at least a pinch of politics involved in here. And there's certainly a chance that if this loan is not fully finalized and approved before the new administration takes office, maybe this loan would just be canceled. We also know that Rivian runs paid ads and they do some marketing. On the other hand, Elon Musk just confirmed that we don't really have marketing at SpaceX or Tesla. The marketing that Tesla is focused on is solving FSD, making it safer than human driving, which would definitely drive a lot of demand for all Tesla vehicles. And then we know that they are working on releasing new models. And this is the Cybercab at Giga Texas. Turns out this Cybercab testing has been ongoing over there for a few weeks now, but Only now we are seeing the footage. And Farzad makes a prediction about this. I love how Tesla can very easily get away with testing Cybercab without people knowing that it has a steering wheel and pedal, and then opening orders up and being like, oh yeah, guess what this is? It's the new $29,000 compact that you can order right now and get delivered pretty much almost immediately. We know that the Cybercab though has a huge trunk, so to put back seats in there, it would be a little bit of work, but it's definitely to some extent possible. You would probably need to make the slope go a little higher though if you want adults to be able to sit in the back comfortably. Certainly not a vehicle that you would look forward to sitting in the back, but with a few modifications, I think Gary Black would be right here. He says if Tesla launches a Cybercab coupe with 4 seats, steering wheel, and pedals as its $25,000 to $30,000 compact in the first half of 2025, it will clean up and blow away Wall Street's 2025 volume estimates of just 15% year over year. If so, it would explain why Tesla is already displaying the Cybercab across Tesla America showrooms while not giving specifics, so as not to Osborne the Model 3 and the Model Y sales prior to launch. And there's actually some really good news in here. Gary Black responded to this post, which said basically that Tesla will revolutionize transportation with FSD, and Gary Black says investors aren't paying for autonomy in the Tesla stock price as of right now, as most believe that either A, Tesla can't get there with the existing vision-only hardware, or B, Tesla won't be the only auto manufacturer who masters unsupervised autonomy and will have to share the market with 4 to 5 others who also get approval for unsupervised autonomy. For example, like Baidu in China, he says, or Waymo in the US. The reason why I say that's good is because investors, many of them, Wall Street, they still don't see what's right in front of their eyes. I became a Tesla stock investor in early 2019, and at that time, it was exactly the same. They did not see the Model Y being a success or Tesla successfully producing EVs, just like right now, they don't see a possibility even of Tesla successfully solving full self-driving and scaling that and making a lot of money from it. And of course, Wall Street is ignoring that Elon Musk is predicting that V13 is trending to be 500% better than the current FSD version. And sure, you can say things like, well, there were times in the past where Elon did not exactly turn out to be correct about things like this, but eventually, in the end, he delivers and turns out to be right. It's just that he delivers late, sometimes really late. But hey, late is acceptable when you're turning impossible into, everyone saw it coming. Now, to be 100% fair, there's a possibility, a chance that 500% better in the case of V13 could mean taking out interventions for things like the vehicle having to reverse or even park. So if Tesla counted parking as an intervention, then of course the intervention rate would improve significantly. I don't count these as interventions though, and it's not clear if Tesla does or does not. But we do know officially from Tesla that V13 will be the first feature complete FSD version, which means it will be able to do all driving maneuvers. It doesn't mean though that it will be perfect. It just means that it's now capable of driving from your garage, I would assume, to a parking spot somewhere, let's say downtown, whereas now just to drive out, you wouldn't be able to do that with FSD. And certainly it doesn't park well, meaning you still have to pick the parking spot sort of manually, and then it can park, although I don't use that feature yet. It's just a bit too slow for me. But looking at the Cybercab, yeah, Tesla is putting Cybercabs on tour, basically. It's in multiple places now. Is Tesla really going to turn the Cybercab into a compact? There is a possibility. I did present that before, but at the same time, I won't be surprised if this is just basically marketing for Tesla with no real plan to really turn that into a compact vehicle at this moment. Here are a few things that we know with certainty though. If you read Walter Isaacson's Elon Musk's biography, you know that the Cybercab was presented to Elon Musk and then the compact was presented alongside with it, and these two vehicles were supposed to be built on the same platform. Keep in mind though that the book came out last year, so things could have changed in a year, and based on official reports from Tesla directly, We know that Tesla is not really going to go to a completely new platform with these new models that are coming out next year. We are going with an in-between platform using which Tesla would be able to utilize all of its existing capacity, which is close to about 3 million vehicles produced per year. And that is making me question the statements like the Cybercab is coming out in a form of a compact that anyone can buy with a steering wheel and pedals on the same platform as the Cybercab in 2025. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. We know that the Cybercab is going to be built on a completely new platform, and that will take some time. Specifically, production is planned to commence sometime before 2027, not next year. If it was next year, I would have a pretty solid guess saying that, I think the compact is going to be based on the Cybercab or whatever models Tesla is releasing in 2025. But because we know the Cybercab is built on a completely new platform and Tesla's new models in 2025 will not really be built on a completely new platform, I have my doubts. Will Tesla really go through all of the extra effort needed to put something that resembles the Cybercab's body, and instead of putting that on a completely new platform, put it on this in-between platform? In the end, it doesn't really matter that much. What really matters is that Tesla is working on new models, that Tesla is working on solving FSD, and that Tesla is ahead of schedule with its Shanghai Megapack factory. And on top of all of this, Tesla is also a really nimble company. If there is a change that's needed to happen quickly, Tesla is capable of doing that. For example, removing the whole supercharging team and then rebuilding it from scratch. And being quick and nimble is definitely going to come in handy when seemingly all American companies are likely to face some sort of tariffs on any goods imported into the US from overseas. And Tesla actually right now in China has 400 local tier 1 suppliers, with more than 60 of them entering its global supply chain system. I wonder how many of them are sending parts to the US. I assume it's not many. When it comes to making cars, there's no other company that's better positioned than Tesla that manufactures vehicles in the US to face these tariffs. Tesla is getting itself into another battle here with the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is proposing some pretty sizable EV tax credits, or rebates specifically, from which Tesla would be excluded, and only Tesla would be excluded, despite that the only company that makes vehicles in California right now is Tesla, and yet you're going to exclude Tesla and only Tesla? You are going to prioritize jobs outside of California, and yet you are the governor of California? Tesla obviously doesn't need any incentives, but the playing field should be a level playing field. This is just not right. I personally believe the main reason why he is doing that is because he is planning to run for the president of the United States of America in 2028, and he is trying to score a few points with the left, because obviously right now the narrative is Elon is bad. So anything that makes Elon worse is good, even if that includes making the people living in your own state poorer by removing possible job opportunities from them. Do you think if this actually goes through and only Tesla is excluded, do you think that Tesla will say, oh, you know what we should do? Create more jobs in California. We should definitely not leave Fremont, and we should definitely build and expand over here in California. There's no way that conversation is going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong, Tesla may still decide to expand in California. Obviously, California has a lot of engineers and a lot of very capable people in the tech space, and Tesla does need a lot of these people. But it doesn't mean that Tesla has to have its factory in Fremont over there forever. And it certainly doesn't mean that Tesla is going to look for ways to expand Fremont. Tesla right now has more capacity in Texas that has not been utilized yet. So obviously it makes a lot more sense to just focus on that and just ignore California. And if this law really is passed, then that will only make a lot more sense. Now, speaking of tariffs, the new administration is planning to slap a 25% tariff on all imports from Mexico, which would largely affect some car makers such as GM and Ford, and even some other ones like Nissan, Stellantis, and Toyota. Now, what are the reasons for these huge tariffs? The new administration wants to put these tariffs on because of the drugs and migrants crisis. So they want Mexico and Canada to really prevent any drugs and any possible migrants coming over the border. To me, this sounds more like a negotiation tactic, and it's definitely not guaranteed that we will actually even see these tariffs. But the additional 10% tariffs on all imports from China, these tariffs, I think there's a very big chance that we will actually see that happening. But the tariffs on Mexico and Canada, Mexico, maybe Canada, I don't know. I definitely think there's not that high of a chance that that will actually come to fruition in the end permanently, but temporarily, sure, anything can happen. In the long term, regardless of what happens, tariffs actually for Tesla would be helpful, because while it would hurt Tesla too, in the short term, it will hurt all other companies more, which would allow Tesla to increase its market share in the US. And Elon Musk commented on the situation as well, saying that these tariffs will be highly effective to get the result that the US wants. So basically, Elon Musk is agreeing with what I just explained. Elon does not expect these tariffs to be permanent. They should be only temporary. And check this out, Tesla has just made some big changes to their referral program in North America. Buyers now who use a referral code can receive up to $2,000 off the purchase price of a new vehicle, supercharging service center visits, etc. Also, referrers get $1,000 when someone uses your referral link. The size of the discount depends on the car, though. If you are getting a Cybertruck, you're going to get $2,000 off, though. If you are referring people to buy a Tesla, these credits, by the way, turns out can be applied to a new vehicle purchases, not just for Tesla's merch and things like that. I double checked with Sawyer. And if you maxed out and already hit the maximum 10 referrals, seems like that just reset and you can get more referrals now. Also, these referral discounts can be compounded with military discounts. This is, of course, a little bit like a price cut for Tesla's vehicles, so this will have some downward pressure on Tesla's margins quarter over quarter. Before, for referring, you would only get $500. Now you get $1,000. Also, if someone does buy a new Tesla vehicle using your link, you will also enter a chance to win an invitation to an upcoming event. I am pretty sure this will drive more sales for Tesla. It's definitely driving more sales right now. Here's a list of all of the promotions, by the way. I think right now is a pretty good time to buy a Tesla. If you want to be extra safe and if you want to get the absolute best deal, usually these happen maybe 4 to 2 weeks before the quarter ends. I think I saw Sawyer make a post earlier saying that he hasn't seen in his roughly 5-ish years of covering Tesla daily so many incentives for buying a Tesla vehicle. So right now is definitely a good time to buy. I think the only reason to wait at this moment is if you really want the refreshed Model Y, but when that comes out, you know that it's going to be more expensive and there will not be incentives this huge to sell the refreshed Model Y, if any incentives at all, actually. Some people, though, will probably wait because they're going to be thinking, well, maybe there is going to be a more affordable model that I would get instead of the current Model 3 or the Model Y next year. Now, Omar is making a prediction here. There's no Cybercab with steering wheel and pedals. The seats are moved back further from the dash. The doors are designed for a car that doesn't park. There will be more affordable models with manual controls, but it won't be a Cybercab, he believes. Yeah, the door is huge. If you just buy a regular Cybercab, there might be a cheaper version where the door don't go up, or they just open like a regular door. But keep in mind, the door is longer and is bigger than a regular door. There's also a rumor right now that V13 is about to come out because Chuck Cook just spotted the Cybertruck going through this area. And when there are vehicles testing this route, usually is because Tesla is about to release a new FSD version. Hopefully it's V13. There's an article from Wall Street Journal which says that XAI is in discussion with Tesla to provide access to its technology and resources, I assume for solving full self-driving faster. Dan Ives was just on TV. He reiterated his Tesla stock price target of the next 12 months, sitting at $400 per share. He also believes that the fight that Gavin Newsom started with Elon Musk is a Game of Thrones battle and that he's not worried about it. Peter Diamandis, who is friends with Elon, just made a prediction. The cost of humanoid robots has been in free fall, plummeting 40% in just 1 year. Expect Tesla Optimus bot to sell at $20,000 soon. I have no doubts we will be owners of this wondrous machinery not too far from now. But Elon replied with a timeline sort of, or what's needed to happen for the Optimus bot to be sold at $20,000. Optimus is a very sophisticated robot, he says. It will be immensely difficult to get the cost to $20,000. Not easy at all, but it will eventually happen. Production volume needs to be above 1 million per year for that. Price will be driven by demand, but eventually even price will get to $20,000. Check this out. The French police have added several new Tesla Model 3s to their fleet. That's good. Oh. Gary Black and Alexandra Mers, they're having a little fight here. This is sort of normal. This happened many times before. But this time, seems like Gary Black actually blocked her on X. Wow. Elon Musk was just now recently asked about playing video games.
No. But I did play Quake and a bunch of other first-person shooters.
League. Did you play League?
Is that X?
League, if I start playing League, it will damage the space program.
There's also more behind the scenes footage. This is from when SpaceX launched its latest Starship rocket.
It only comes back to land if everything is like super green. And then we had some concerns about the tower, so it was commanded to land out to sea.
Amazing. Can they use that again? Can they get it from the sea? Or?
It's going to be probably blow up. Probably going to blow up, is my guess. But that's fine. We actually have better versions that are in production in those factories over there.
How long will it take to produce another one of those?
We already have the next one.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And it's better than that one. So there are big improvements with every successive.
So what makes it better?
The specific next one we have is a lot of small improvements. There's a big version of that'll be flying next year. That's got the version 3 of our engines. That'll look very different. And it'll be longer and have a lot more thrust and have the new next generation engine.
The G-force is going up if you were to go to manned. Is it too much for a person to handle?
No, it's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, like 5 Gs.
Okay, that's
fine. Yeah. The boost back burn is doing 20 Gs, so you wouldn't want to be on.
You wouldn't want to do the flip. Yeah.
No.
What did you say the top speed was?
For this flight, it'll do about 17,000 miles an hour. But for going to Mars, you'd go much faster than that. So maybe 35,000. Depends on how fast you want to go to Mars, but maybe 35,000 miles an hour.
What's the quickest time frame to get to Mars with our current technology?
If you want to maximize payload, it takes 6 months. You could potentially get it down to like 3 or 4 months if you're willing to sacrifice payload.
Okay. Does the weight matter once you're in space as much or not really?
You've got to accelerate mass to a velocity to basically the Mars transfer velocity.
So the cost benefit of
So if you have less payload, you can go faster. That's the beginning. Would maximize payload to be like 6 months. Like long term, you can definitely get it below 3 months. So, yeah.
And check this out. Elon Musk just said that this is gonna happen. The IRS will get audited by the Doge. And Elon Musk just reiterated multiple times that he is going to ask everyone working for the government, what did you get done this week? It will be asked. In the last 48 hours, Elon posted so much on his X account. It's really difficult to keep up with him now, especially if you also look at his replies as well. Look at how much I'm scrolling and I'm barely going down in terms of, look at, this is still 4 hours ago and it's been like this for a while now. I'm still scrolling down. It's still 4 hours ago. He's posting so much. That's it for this video. I believe Tesla is going to $1,000 eventually and then well above that. My name is Matt Postius. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Friday.